Hello everyone. So today we are going to solve the problem number C1.3 named as Omsk programmers. Okay. So in this problem, let me first explain the problem. So in this problem we have given three integers, that is a, b and x. Okay. And our goal is to make a and b as equal. So let me explain the problem. In this problem we have given three integers a, b and x. Suppose we are given a, b and x, like a as 1, 2 and x can be like 3. Okay, and what we have to do is we have to make a and b as equal. Okay, so to make a and b as equal, we can allow to perform two operations. We can do two operations to make a equal to b. First operation we can increase any number by 1. We can increase any number by 1. Okay, any number by 1. And in the second operation we can done is we can subtract not subtract, we can divide any number a or b by x and take the floor value. Like we can subtract a by x or b by x and take the floor value. Okay, so these are the two operations we can do, and our goal is to make a and b as equal in the minimum number of operations. So that is the whole problem. I hope the problem is clear. So like in the example, if a is given as 1 and b is given as 2 and x is given as 3. Okay, and our goal is to make a and b equal. So what is the minimum number of operations we can do? We can simply just increase a by 1 and we will get a and b unequal. So the number of operations will be here 1. Okay, now you can see here we can choose one integer a or b and add 1 to it. Choose one of the integers a and b and divide it by x with rounding down, and we have to take the minimum number of operations. So let me explain the problem with another example 232. Another example a is 2, b is 3 and x is given as 2 again. Okay, so in this we can simply just again make the a and add it. We can use the first operation, that is increase a number by 1, and make this a as 3. So a and b becomes equal. So here operations is 1 also. Let me discuss one more. Suppose we have given this 7, 3, 10. Now we have 7, 3, 10. Now if we try the first operation, we can say that we have to increase b count. Like here b is 3, we have to increase the b by 4 times to make a and b equal. So one answer can be like 4 operations we can take, but we have to minimize. So we can, here one answer can be 4. We can simply see, but if we apply the operation number 1. Okay, now we can try going with second operation. In second operation we can take any number and divide by x. So what if we divide a by 10? Okay, let me try it out. If we divide a by 10, so what we get, a new a will be 0 and b will be 3. Okay, now in one operation we get a and b like this. So here if we add a to 3, then we get b is equal to 3. Then only, then here also an answer can be 4. Okay, so In order to get more minimized version, one answer we can get as 4. 4 is what? 1 is dividing by a with 10 and then adding 3 to a. To make a and b as equal, we can get answer as 4 times. Now the one other method that is the optimize we can do. Like we can divide first a by x, then we get a new a as 0 and new b as 3. Here the number of operation at 1, and then we can divide b by x also, then we get a as 0 and b as 0. Now in two operations we have made both a and 2 0. So we tried one that take 4, then 4, and the optimize we get 2 operations. So in this way we have to solve. Now we have to think how to get the minimum number of operations to make a and b are equal, and also we have to ensure that a and b should be equal, and we can do only 2 operations, that is increase a number by 1 and do the divide operation and take the floor value. So if we start thinking about the problem, so one thing we can see clearly, as we have to minimize the answer we will think about later. Okay, so if it just we have given as a and b and an x, what can be the one answer we can get instantly? The one answer can be like to make a and b as equal, we can say that one answer can be just absolute value of a minus b. If we perform the first operation, the one answer can be absolute value of a minus b if we perform the first operations. That is, just do add 1 to any number. Just add 1 to any number. We can get one answer to make a as b by doing this. Now we should start thinking how to get the minimum operations. So this is absolute, that this can be the answer and the minimum will be always less than this, and that can be achieved only if we divide both numbers. Okay, so what we can do, if we take this example, suppose we are taking this, that is 6 number 472. Suppose the a is 4, b is 7 and the x is 2. Okay. So now the one answer we can instantly get is that the absolute value of a minus b, that is nothing but one answer we can get as 3 operations we need. 3 operations. But can we make a and b equal in some little more less operations? In order to do so, we think. So now we have to think, can we do the operation in less number of operations? So now we have to divide. So if we have to divide a and b, and a and b is not equal, whom I will prefer to divide first? Definitely we will divide with x, the greater one. So what we can do is we can take the greater number. Suppose we greater number and divide by x. Okay. We can do something like this. Now one answer I have already, that is 3 operation, that is just doing the first operation only. Now we have to include the second operations. So we have to make a count we can make a count like this, and to count the operations we can make. Okay. So we can take the greater number and divide by x. So this will do what? Count plus plus. One count plus plus we get, that we have divided by one person. Now suppose we have taken the greater number like this. If we take the b as 7. Now when we divide the b with 2, the new a will be 4, that is not changed, and the new b we get from the previous example. If we divide b by 2, we get 3. Okay, we get the b as 3, and x will be the same as 2. Now we can see that I have a new a and b. Now at this point we also have to think about the first operations. Like once I have divided the greater number, now we will check their absolute difference and add that answer to the count. Now the absolute difference between a and b is 1. Now we can just add into the count as this absolute difference. Okay, I hope you are getting this. I mean, first we will the total absolute difference, that is the only doing the operation 1. Now if we consider the second operation, we can start our count as 0, total number of operation. We can take the greater number divided by x, that is one operation happened, that means we have to do count plus plus. Now we will get a new a and a new b. Now the one answer can be after this operations, that is there we can just make their absolute difference, like add b to 1 doing first operation. So the one answer can be this. Now to get another answer, we can again divide the greater number by x. Now the greater number is a. Now the greater number is a. We can divide a by x. We get the, we again do a count plus plus and get something like a is now 2 and new b is 3, x is 2, like in this manner. Like first we get the absolute difference a minus b, the total answer. Now we will do like first divide the greater number. First we apply 1 second operation and then go for the first operation. Then we get another answer. Now let's forget everything. Let's start with press. What I'm saying, the problem is clear. The one answer, we have to take the minimum answer, so we are deriving all the answers. The one simple answer can be the applying only the first operation, that is a minus b. Okay, absolute difference, that is a minus b. Now the one answer can be like we divide the greater number by the x. Now we take the absolute value between them, like doing the first operation. One answer can be that. Other answer can be that we can do the same. Now in the remaining, now the new a and b, we choose the greater a and b and again divide by x and then again take the absolute difference. Now we get new a and b. Now we again choose the greater one, divide by x and again make that simple. So in this way we are going until the a and b becomes equal. Like if we divided by continuous divided by x, then we, at a point where a and b become 0 or equal, then we will stop there. And that's manner we are something like doing brute force, like we are doing checking all the answers that could make the a and b as equal and just take the minimum one. So that is the whole idea. Okay, now let me try to code it out. Commented. Now what is this? First line single integer t. Let me first include the libraries c++.h, some zoom in, zoom out. Now this name is space, the main function, we are returning 0, we have three test cases, taking the input and calling the solve function to solve out this. Now each test case consists of single line, three integers a, b and x. So in the solve what we can do, We can take the solve function and there will be a, b and x. We can take the input, the a, b and we can take the a, b and x. Now we have to make a and b equal. Doing only two operations I have mentioned here. We can just increase a number by 1 or can do a by x, b by s and take the floor value. So one answer we are going to derive all the answers and take the minimum one. Okay. So one answer can be just like the absolute value between a and b if we do only the first operation. Okay. And now we have to do all the operations. So now we have taken the one answer can be the absolute of a minus b, the simple one. Now we are going to derive all the answers. Okay. So we will count the operations. We can count the operations. First message is 0. Now we are including the second operations. So we have to do continuous. So we will run a while loop just for continuity. Okay. Now we will run this while loop until our a and b is not equal. Whenever the a and b is equal, we can break the loop. We will break the loop. Now what we have to do, whichever is greater than, if a is greater than b, then I will divide a. Now the new a will be a by x. Okay. But before doing this, we have to take the floor value of a by x. Now the new a is a by x if a is greater than b. So that means I have done one operations. We have to do count plus plus. Now we have to analyze all the answer and take the minimum one. Now I have a new a, new b. I have done one second operation, that is the divide one. Now we will do here first operation, that is the. Now to get a and b at this point of time we have equal, we can just take the absolute of a and minus b again. So the new answer will be the minimum of the previous answer and the current count that is done by the divide value and the absolute of new a and b. I think this is clear. I am making the new answer every time. Of each divide operation we will get a new answer. That is first divide one and take their difference to make them equal. Now if b is greater than a, then b will be the floor of b by x. And again we have performed one operation and I have again get a new answer, that is this. Now when this way we have done the question, and at the end when the loop is break out we have the minimum answer. So we will print that answer and take the next line. So let's check this whether it will work or not. Okay. So we got something like fault. Compiler is slow. Yeah. We have 11230222. So 11230222. So this way we have solved the problem. So let's meet in another video with another problem and a simple solution. Bye bye.